Welcome back to another episode of Sports Dan Podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Hooker. You see Q1, you see Cam. You already know we're here to talk some ball. So, guys, the Western Conference Finals just concluded. A great Game 7. Ones that I think all three of us predicted the Spurs to win. Which is shocking that we all agreed on something, which is very rare. But I'm glad. Uh, for the Western Conference Finals, what were some quick thoughts and some quick takeaways that you saw from the Spurs?
Man, I think it was just getting Wemby in his spots leading up to Game 7 at least. Now, Game 7 was it, the others showed up heavily. Champagne going out there having 20 points. Harper had a crazy fourth quarter. Luke Cornett with the crazy block. The Spurs others had lost the matchup for the entirety of the series until they needed to win it in Game 7. And I think that's going to be big in the finals as well because, Wemby's going to see a bunch of attention. Wemby's going to have his moments, but there's going to be moments when he's not, the Wemby that we want to see every night. And it's going to be important that those guys show up again for Wemby and the team.
Cam?
Yeah, I mean, for the Spurs, hey, I said it many times on my own personal videos. I said Wemby save us, and that's exactly what he did, man. Shout out Wemby Alma. Game 1, hey, Wemby was Wemby. They ran him to death because they had a double overtime classic. So that was that. They set the tone with that. Of course, OKC they was gonna bounce back Game 2. Game 3, they got him a win because the Spurs came out lazy. But Game 4, once they made that adjustment of just Blitz and Shea, I feel like that changed the series, even though they did get away from that in Game 5. Game 6, they was able to run away with it. And yeah, Game 7, it was anybody's ball game type of atmosphere. But the Spurs, they came out really well. Like, they were on 10 pretty much the whole entire game. The only time where it was started to get out of hand was when Shea had a crazy second quarter. But even when Shea did have that crazy second quarter, you had, your vets like De'Aaron Fox showing why you went out there and got him to, rally the troops, keep it calm in the second quarter and still allowing the Spurs to have the lead going into the second half. So I think all in all, obviously we talk about Wemby, but like Keywan was saying, like, the Spurs, others outside of Wemby, was the sole reason why they were able to win this Game 7.
Yeah. I just think what I like the way they started fourth quarter. They said, Wemby, you're gonna go here. We're gonna get you low post on the block, and you work out from there. And the thing is, what I love, Wemby didn't take as many dribbles. He just faced up and rose up. He got the foul call. We're going to the line. You're shooting two. Now he's in rhythm. But Julian Champagnie, round of applause,
Hey.
brother. Round of applause. We had the Julian Champagnie game, Game 7. Our friend Jameer, he is very critical on Julian, but I told, but then Cam knows because we have a little group chat. He was like, tell Julian Champagne to lock in. Oh brother, he did.
Hey,
He did.
bro.
He
rose
did.
up.
That's the thing. One thing I loved about the Spurs in big moments, it wasn't just Wemby stepping up. We had Keldon Johnson hitting 2 key threes to keep that momentum. Because if Keldon Johnson don't hit those two threes, who knows what would have happened. Then we also have Julian, the step back 3, and it was chicken. Hey, that's all I needed to see. I said, hey, that might be the game right there. And then we all said it. Luke Cornett, oh brother, Game 1 through 6 negates everything for what you did for Game 7.
That's right.
Those 2 words, Game 7, you're gonna be remembered because of that block in San Antonio.
But what?
I'll tell you that now.
Blocked by Cornett, boy. Blocked by Cornett.
Bro, that's even to utter that statement out loud is crazy. But one person, 2 people I have to bring up. No, 3. The guards. De'Aaron Fox coming back, being a vet, helping out his young guys. Dylan Harper. What I said to the both of y'all, if Dylan Harper shows up, they win. I said if Dylan Harper shows up, they win. Dylan Harper showed up Game 6 and in Game 7 when they needed him the most. And guess what happened? Wins came about. Stephon Castle, Games 1 and 2, the world turned their back on you. But brother, Game 3 through 7, you showed your value in this core. I'll tell you that very much. Because when De'Aaron Fox came back, he had 36 assists to 12 turnovers. That was his ratio: 36 assists to 12 turnovers, and that's the value of Fox, but also the value of Stephon Castle being your playmaker. Um, Stephon Castle skip passes. Hey, they're right on the money. Like every time he comes around a Wemby screen, a Keldon Johnson screen, hey, whoever that corner man, get ready to shoot. That's all I gotta say. Because he gonna throw it on the line, he gonna throw it right in your shooting pocket. But another unsung hero, Devin Vassell. Oh my goodness, he brought the energy. We also about Keldon Johnson like being the bully ball and all that stuff. No, Devin Vassell. Every time he block check or somebody, he's gonna pop it, talk to him, run down and hit the three, or he gonna make the play. Like that's all I need to see. That's all I want. That will twin the passion. I think that's what people gravitate towards in that series with the Spurs. The Spurs just play with a little bit more passion, had a little bit more emotion behind the game, and that's what made fans cheer for the Spurs. Also, things gonna be looking a little different for OKC. For OKC, do you think a change will come within that locker room?
Go ahead, Cam.
Absolutely. I mean, it's been a discussion even when they won last year that this Thunder team, like, yeah, they're good, but for the past 2 to 3, even that series when they lost to the Mavericks, when the Mavericks went to the finals, it was clear that it was kind of like, yeah, you got your J Dubs, you got your Shets, but when it comes down to it, it's pretty much just going to be Shea. Now, obviously, it was difficult to guard Shea and stop Shea because of what he was able to do in the mid-range game and obviously being able to get to the free throw line frequently. But now, with that being, I think that was a little bit of exposed not only this season, but this playoff series, and it was by the same team, the Spurs. I mean, when you look at the Spurs, they were the only team to not only have a winning record against the Thunder in the regular season, but I mean they smacked them. They had a series in it. They had a regular season series in its own, and they would have won in 5. It was 4-1. Then they just beat them 4 times again in the playoffs. So I definitely think whenever you have a team that is on the same, stature as you are with youth and depth, it's going to cause you to make some changes. Now, who will they trade? I have a candidate in mind, but I don't know because you got to me, okay, like J Dub, obviously he was injury prone this whole entire season. So do you look at that and say, okay, can we trust him moving forward? Now he will have a whole entire off season, but to be fair, I mean, he pretty much had the whole regular season, and every single time he came back, it was still either the right hamstring or the left hamstring. So that may give you some, questions because he had got a whole bunch of rest. He only played with I only remember seeing him play 15 or 20. He didn't play no more than 30 games in the regular season, and you still coming back in the playoffs and hurting your hamstring. Come on. But Mr. Chet Holmgren, you are what I like to call Georgia peach buns, my brother. If you look at the emoji and you put a peach, you see the peach, you know it. You know what that entails. 4 points? 4 points in a game 7. Now, not only were you getting outplayed by Wemby, and obviously, it wasn't a surprise because we've been seeing ever since Wemby's come into the league that you clearly are not going to win that matchup. Like, we know you're not going to win that matchup. But for you to go out there and, in a sense, just give up in a game 7 where your main superstar SGA is having that crazy second quarter and you can't go out there and try to help a little bit. You can't give me no shot attempts. Like, you giving me 4 points, 1 for 2. That's the first 2 minutes of a rec game, my brother. 4 points, 1 for 2, and then 4 rebounds. You didn't do nothing. You didn't do that. You basically had a Tony Snell 0-0-0 in 25 minutes for a beat. That's basically what you had. You just had a 4 ball, like, ooh. But yeah, I definitely see some changes with all that being said. And if it was up to me, Chet Holmgren would have to go.
I agree with your sentiments about Chet Holmgren. He was horrible. I know John gonna kill him. I don't have to say too much about Chet Holmgren. We saw him play. We saw what he did and what he did not do. But to answer the question, I honestly, y'all, to be honest with y'all, I don't think OKC's going to make any drastic changes.
Mhm.
I think you look at this series, you can look at it one or two ways. You can look at it as, dang, the Spurs beat us and they're so very young. What are they going to look in the future? Or you can look at it as we went 7 games with these guys without J-Dub and without AJ Mitchell. Now, of course, with the whole second apron stuff, they're going to make some changes. You know, Chet Holmgren, of course, is the biggest name everybody's talking about, but I look at Lou Dort making $18 million. He's going to be gone next season. Look at Isaiah Hartenstein. Hart's not bad, but I think they're going to get rid of him to stay under that apron as well. I also think, you know, with what they have 3 draft picks this year, 2 first-round draft picks. I think they may just trade up and get a higher pick. I don't think we're going to see the core with Chet, Shea, and J-Dub get taken out just yet. You know, and also I look at Chet. You know, who is going to want Chet? Who's going to want him
after this series?
Yeah. I see people talking about an AD or a Giannis. The Bucks are not going to want Chet Holmgren for Giannis. That's not going to happen.
Heavens no.
My turn?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. It's time. Okay. Cam, how long have you known me?
I've known you for about 3 to 4 years now.
How long I've been telling you about Chet Holmgren?
You've been telling me about Chet. Was he in the league back then? But I know you've been telling me about him at least the last 2 to 3.
Okay, cool. Okay, so here's my thing. Chet Holmgren, you get paid over $200 million. At first, the first playoff loser that everyone's on, Jalen Duren. Brother, I haven't seen a Jalen Duren TikTok in the past 2 days because of you. You know how bad Jalen Duren paid? You know how bad he played? And now you're the laughing stock right now. I'm not gonna say anything. Maybe something mentally going on. Not gonna do that. But brother, Reggie Miller said, attack him. All you see is Chet passing the ball. I said, brother, what's going on? Izzy, welcome to the Chet Holmgren. I'm not slandering him. I'm just critiquing his play from Game 7. Izzy know how I've been feeling about the Thunder for a long time.
It's a lot to critique, so hey, go ahead, bro.
Okay, so cool. Chet Holmgren. People have said you're the closest guy to Wemby and the guy that can make things difficult for Wemby. Yes, a lot of people said Chet as a roamer, Chet this, that, third. Brother, you are all defensive team. You were a top 3 pick. And also, are we forgetting, what's the word? The will to win? The will to win. I don't think just left Chet. Every time I see him wing player or something, he just, Shea. Casey Wallace. No! Go get that! Go get some money! In the playoffs, we label our superstars superstars because of what they do in the playoffs. Kawhi Leonard, what he said when Giannis was killing him, I'm the adjustment. I'll go guard that. Chet! Help! Raheem is dead, somebody shot him. That's what happened. Raheem is dead, somebody shot him. So let's go ahead and make things right. Like, just go in the offseason. Don't turn on your phone. Actually, just delete social media. Just go work out. Don't personal. If I see a Chet Holmgren workout video, I promise you I'm going to spaz this off.
Oh, you know he gonna post that, boy.
Boy, he don't need to post
that, bro.
He don't need to post. I promise you it's going to be nothing but trolls. I'm not going to troll, but I like a comment or two. 100%. But another thing, Lou Dort. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my gosh. Like, I genuinely was appalled that he was still getting minutes. Respectfully. Like, I don't know what.
Casey Wallace should have been getting his minutes the entire series. They made that adjustment a little too late.
Oh, brother. You know what Casey Wallace said in his
Yeah, I know. I saw what he said. Look, Casey Wallace, I think he deserves a lot more touches, a lot more minutes. I think he could thrive on another team, like as a primary ball handler. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like a team like that, I think Casey Wallace could break out, and we could be talking about him as like one of the more underrated ball handlers in the league. Like he's like literally True Holiday 2.0. That is what he is.
Yeah, and Mark Dadnock says, nah, Lou Dort. Like, you couldn't pay me to just sit there and watch Lou Dort hoops. Like, as an OKC fan, if you're still defending Lou Dort, I have the utmost respect for you.
I think they've been done with him the entire year, if I'm being honest. From what I've seen, like on social media, I think all Thunder fans are done with Lou Dort.
What about iHeart? I've been seeing iHeart to Atlanta as well.
I think iHeart's going to come back. I think he's going to come back at a lower cap hit. I think he's going to come back. I don't think he wants to leave. He's also very important to what they do. So
he is, but he's replaceable now.
Yeah. Hey, they could.
I don't know how many centers you're going to find on the open market these days. I don't know. Yeah, I think he's going to come back though.
Okay, so Izzy, what are some quick takeaways you saw from the Spurs, and what are some offseason plans the Thunder should do?
Well, for OKC, I mean, you mentioned Chet. Chet had a rough series, no way around it. I've been defending him and all that. You know, he had a bad series. But that's what happens when you go up against one of the best in the world, Wembanyama. Like, it's a tough matchup for anybody. But Chet, honestly, if Wemby's with the Monks, then Chet needs to climb Mount Everest or like Mount Kilimanjaro or something. Like, he needs to this offseason, like he needs to just get away. Like, just get away, do something. Like, if Wemby's with the Monks, like I want him like doing something great like something, bro. Like he needs to do something. Like put on some weight, work on your offensive game. I think that's the main thing that he needs to do. Because I thought defensively, for the most part, he did his job. Like he didn't take the Wemby one-on-one matchup, sure, but he was a roamer. He was a good rim protector. He was deterring the Spurs a lot from the rim, so I think that's a good thing to take away from that. The offensive side of the floor is what I have the problem with. Like you had wings matching up on you, and like you can't just go down the block and just put a hand up and like just go to work. Like that, I think he needs to work on. But I don't think OKC needs to do anything drastic. I don't think they need to go get a Giannis or go get a Kawhi or somebody like that. I don't think they need to make a blockbuster move because they have a lot of talent. They have a lot of young talent. And their team is going to look a little different next year because they're projected to soar over the second apron right now. I think they're like 40 million over the second apron for next year if everybody comes back. So I don't think that's going to happen. I think Lou Dort's gone. I think iHeart will come back at a lower number. Cason Wallace may be gone, but I think he should come back. They need him, in my opinion. And I think he will have that opportunity if, some of these guys leave. Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, like those guys all going to be gone as well. But I think OKC will be fine. I mean, they took this team 7 games without their second best player, Jalen Williams. So I don't think they need to do anything drastic.
Okay. So the NBA Finals is here. I said the Western Conference Finals was the NBA Finals, and it gave us a lot of good moments. So this NBA Finals, I have a certain expectation on, and we're going to see how it goes. But what are 3 main keys for either team to win the NBA Finals?
Cam, I'll let you go first.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna give my 3 keys. I'm gonna go for I'm gonna give 3 keys for the Knicks, even though I really don't want to. But I'm gonna just do it for the plot since they're going to be the underdog going into this series. Number 1, Cat is going to have a really great series. Not a good series, but a really great series. Now, we don't know what the matchup is going to look like when it comes to like who's going to guard Wemby. Will it be him? Will it be OG? Will it be Josh Hart? We don't know. But I feel like Cat is definitely going to have to be the most important player in this series for the Knicks to go out there and have a really respectable chance of winning this series. Now, number 2, I would say making sure that the Knicks can contain, the guard depth of the Spurs. Now, obviously, we know the talent that Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper has, as well as De'Aaron Fox. But you're definitely going to have like one of those players it's something that's going to have to give when it comes to those 3 guys, because you can't just let both of them, if you're going to claim you're going to quote unquote slow down Wemby, you can't let the guards, get theirs too. Because then the Spurs obviously have more offensive willpower than y'all, so you got to be able to neutralize at least 1, if not 2 of the guards, if you can. And the last key I would say is Jalen Brunson. This is your time. you've been trying to people have been trying to, say you can't do this because you're a small guard. Obviously, I just said Cat's going to be the most important player of the series, but we all know if you go out there and you do what you have to do, you're going to win the Finals MVP, and that's going to put you in some conversation. So, Jalen Brunson, you have to go out there and continue to do what you've been doing on the big stage in the finals, and then you'll get a lot of respect from the doubters that you have.
For me, for the Spurs, I think on the Spurs side of things, three keys. How are you going to slow down Jalen Brunson? I mean, I think the Spurs, they did a great job on SGA. SGA looked very mortal in the Western Conference Finals for the most part. I know he had a great game seven, but he was not the same efficient scorer that we've seen for the last 3-4 years. So what are you going to do with Jalen Brunson? Are you going to double him? Are you going to blitz him? Are you going to trap him? Are you going to hedge ball screens? You have to throw a lot of different coverages at Brunson. And I think the Spurs have the personnel to do it. And you can also play him straight up with Stephon Castle, who's one of the better perimeter defenders in the league. So I know the Spurs are definitely, willing to take their chances with that. So I think that's one thing. Second thing, offensive rebounding. The Knicks are a great offensive rebounding team. The Spurs kind of struggled on the offensive boards against the Thunder. So that was something that, I was seeing. The Thunder couldn't really capitalize, couldn't really make shots, especially down the stretch of the series. But the Knicks that's not going to be the case. If the Knicks get second and third chance opportunities, even fourth chances at times, they are going to cash in. They have a lot of offensive firepower. Cat, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, obviously Brunson as well, even Deuce McBride on kick-out threes. So got to keep the Knicks off the glass. Then the third key for me is what version of De'Aaron Fox are you going to get in this series? Because you saw him, he was hampered a little bit by the ankle injury. Obviously, Steph Castle and Dylan Harper stepped up big time, and I expect them to do that again. But now Fox has a couple of days off. You're not playing every other day in the NBA Finals, so he's going to have added rest opportunities, for that ankle. So what version of him are the Spurs going to get? Because if they get the regular season and the first two series version of De'Aaron Fox, then they could make quick work of the Knicks. But if they get the hampered version that they got against OKC, then this series could be a little longer. So I'm looking at De'Aaron Fox, how healthy is he going to be and what level of production are you going to get from him? So those are my three keys for the Spurs.
Okay. Q1. The question was 3 keys for either team.
I'm gonna look at the Knicks. My biggest key for the Knicks are those wings, and I said the same thing for the conference finals. But I think in this series, it's even more important. Cam talked about defending those guards for San Antonio. That's gonna be the wings' job. JB's not gonna guard nobody, so everybody else has to guard for him. Also, offensively, we know about Wembanyama. We know about what he wants to do in the paint and kind of control things down there. He's going to be playing a lot of help side. And we saw in the regular season where he was assigned to defend Josh Hart. And Josh Hart, he had a big game against the Cavs in, what was it, game 2? Where he hit like 5 threes. I don't know if he's going to go out and hit 5 threes in the game in the finals, but you have to find a way to still be a positive if you're not hitting shots. And the thing about Mike Brown, he's not going to waste no time pulling Josh Hart. He's going to put in another wing in Landry Shamet who can hit that shot. So I think those wings are going to be big on both sides of the floor. Just like y'all said, Jalen Brunson has got to find a way to have a successful series on the offensive end. We saw how the Spurs handled SGA. And I think a part of the reason why they handled SGA was because of his play style. He does not want to shoot too many threes. He's trying to get to that mid-range, and that's kind of where Wemby was sitting, waiting for him to get down there. JB is not going to hesitate to take that three off the screen. And I think Brunson's going to have a way better series against the Spurs than SGA did just because of that fact. So he has to be great game in and game out while also not being a super negative on the defensive end because he's gonna be guarding someone that is bigger than him and stronger than him. It's going to be hard to hide Brunson out there in that series against the Spurs. And last but not least, it's of course Karl-Anthony Towns. Karl-Anthony Towns, if he's guarding Wemby for a lot of the game, he's going to be in foul trouble. That's just the truth of the matter. And if he's in foul trouble, you got to bring in Mitchell Robinson. And Mitchell Robinson has to play heavy minutes in this series. Broken pinky or bionic pinky is going to be an issue for them. Because he's going to have to see Wembanyama, and he ain't got nothing for him. So I would say the wings, JB, offensively and defensively, and Karl-Anthony Towns staying out of foul trouble.
Okay. For me, we got two Knicks. I'll go Spurs. For me, let's do to the up north kids. Dylan Harper and Julian Champagnie is very key in this series. When both played good, the Spurs won. And I feel as so if they play with that confidence, being back at home, seeing all your peoples, I feel as so that gives them a boost of confidence to perform well. But also to understand that you don't have to overdo what you're doing. You don't have to outplay your role. Just play your role, do things what you've been doing, and things are going to go well. I think sometimes with Dylan Harper, he wants to make the play instead of making the right play at times. And that's okay because he's still young. He's still only a rookie playing in these big moments. But I know for certain, when the lights are bright, Dylan Harper showed up. And game 6 and game 7, when the Spurs needed him the most, he showed up. Julian Champagnie, I can say the same thing. Whenever they needed a big time 3-pointer, he showed up and knocked it down in game 7. So I think that's a key thing. That's one key. Two, I think Wemby just staying locked in for a full 48. Keywan said a crazy comparison. Izzy, you haven't heard this, but Keywan said he's either Evan Mobley or he's the best player in the world. So do with that as you will. But
It's not ridiculous.
So
It's not a diss either. So
no, it's not. But it's like the potential of Wemby and everything. I think if Wemby stays locked in for a full 48 or however long he plays, he's going to be the best player on the floor. And I think he said something in his post game that really stuck with me. He was like, winning is like an addiction. Like, hopefully I'm not addicted yet, but I'm probably am. I feel it. So if you're that addicted to winning, I think that the win is going to show time and time out, especially on the biggest stage in Madison Square Garden. I think if Wemby stays locked in, the Spurs have a really good chance. My last key, Mitch Johnson. I think Mitch Johnson and Mike Brown was going to be a very fun coaching matchup. Both one side, one's doing his first go around. The other on the other side has done this before, but also has been an assistant in those big moments. So, Mitch Johnson, understand you will be looked at if you win this series and you win the NBA Finals, you'll be put in conversation of being a rising head coach that can be the top coach in the league for the next couple of years. But also understanding you're now in part of the sport, a Spurs culture that's used to winning, and Spurs fans are expecting truly a Larry O'Brien trophy to come back to San Antonio. So understand that the things that you did and the way you adjusted and the way you helped your team to come out and play with that confidence for Game 6 and Game 7, continue to do that in New York because those fans, you think OKC was bad, New York gonna be 10 times worse. So yeah, those are my 3 keys. Okay, two X Factor players, one from the Spurs, one for the Knicks.
I'll go first for the Spurs. I think it's Devin Vassell. He's had a great playoffs for the most part. And even going back to the regular season, I think the Spurs were 23-9 when he scores 15 or more points. So if he's getting to 15 consistently, the Spurs offense is that much tougher to solve because of his floor spacing, his ability to put it on the floor. You know, you even saw some tough takes to the basket as well in the OKC series. I was really impressed with. So I'm looking at him. You know, if he's hitting enough shots, he's going to stay on the floor. They're going to need him defensively as well. And he's grown a lot on that end of the floor this year, to the point where they're even trusting him on switches to guard SGA, or even in the series before that, guard Ant, and then the Portland series, Denny Advia as well. So, like, and now he's probably going to get switched on to, Jalen Brunson at times. He's probably going to have to guard OG Anunoby or Mikal Bridges, So I think on that end of the floor as well, he's very important for them. But offensively, his ability to knock down shots, big-time shots, stop runs, just things like that I'm looking at him for. And when he's on, this Spurs team is very, very tough to beat. So that's my X factor for the Spurs.
For the Spurs, I'm just gonna keep it simple. I'm going Wemby. We just talked about it. This guy, if he plays the way he wants to play, he's the best player in the world. And if he's aggressive, he just puts so much pressure on the opposing team. And in this case, it will be the New York Knicks. He's going to put so much pressure on whoever's defending him. I don't think we're going to see too much cat on him. It may be in spots, but in those times where Karl Anthony Towns is defending him, Karl Anthony Towns is going to foul him. And he's going to be out the game. And just like that, the Knicks are a different team without him on the floor. And also defensively, we talked about how big of an impact he was against SGA, against the Blazers. He's the best defender we've probably ever seen in terms of impact. And he's going to be that game in and game out. We don't got to worry about that. And I think taking away a specific area, the paint, makes offense 10 times harder, 100 times harder for the New York Knicks. So I'm going Wemby.
Yeah, for the Spurs, for their X factor, I'm gonna go with De'Aaron Fox. I feel like De'Aaron Fox, when it comes to this series, not a lot of people are going to be, discussing him as that potential, X factor, just because of how Devin Vassell has played and he's coming off of that injury. But if De'Aaron Fox coming off of that injury, against the Thunder, if he can go out there and give you some really, really good like scoring and production, like how he kind of gave at the end of that first half in Game 7, then that's really going to make it way more difficult for the Knicks to win this series, in my opinion. And for the Knicks, I'll just say the guy that, in my opinion, that has been their X factor this whole entire postseason, and I'll say OG Anunoby. I mean, he has been literally the guy for the Knicks that, if Jalen Brunson is not going to be, the main scorer, there were many nights where OG has been the second best scorer and sometimes the best scorer. I mean, after like the first or second round, he was averaging the second most on the team at like 23 and was shooting crazy on his shooting splits. Now, obviously, he had the hamstring injury, but if now with them having some rest, if he didn't seem to have much problems with it in the Cavs series because they didn't really have to exert that much energy. But if he can go out there and, be manageable with his hamstring injury, then he can give the Knicks a boost. So I'm going to go for both sides, players that's coming off recent injuries. Whoever can, be the healthiest and give their team that biggest spark, I think that's the team that's going to end up taking the series.
Okay. For me, damn, we all say different players. Okay. Mine's Steph Castle. I think Steph Castle for the Spurs. He's gonna be the primary defender on Brunson, so him staying out of foul trouble will be key. And him, Stephon Castle, he's a little bit of a crasher. I think if he keeps his emotions in check, I think those things will go good in his favor. Because whenever he keeps his emotions in check, he's still locked in on the game. So I think that's gonna be very key. We saw his assist to turnover ratio tremendously rise when Fox came back in. At times, in Game 7, Steph Castle made a couple key passes to where we were like, that's a good playmaker right there. That's a lead playmaker right there. So I think that's gonna be one. For the Knicks, Josh Hart. I think Josh Hart has the ability to take those open shots and make those open shots. I think that's gonna be a real good key for the Knicks. Open up their offense a little more for driving lanes for Brunson, for Cat, even for OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges to get to their pull-ups. I think that's gonna be key. And Josh Hart, I think he's that heart of a team. Whenever Josh Hart's playing good, whenever Josh Hart is playing with that dog in him, the Knicks match that energy and that effort, and they are a tough team to beat when those things are going their way.
Just quickly, I didn't say my Knicks X Factor. I think it's Mikal. Yeah. I didn't know we were doing both at the same time. I'll go Mikal Bridges. I think the last two series, Mikal Bridges is showing why the Knicks traded for him, because the Atlanta series, there were calls to bench him. The Knicks didn't need him. The Knicks overpaid, this, that, and the third. But against the Sixers and the Cavs, Mikal Bridges was one of their most important, if not one of their best players, on both ends of the floor. His defense on Tyrese Maxey in the Sixers series was stellar. Then you go to the Cavs series, his defense on Donovan Mitchell, James Harden was great as well. And his offense has really come around. He's a lot more confident in his mid-range. He's knocking down threes. He's getting to the basket as well. He just looks a lot more confident offensively. At times this season, he has not looked this confident offensively. So if he's providing them, 15 to 20 a game on absurd efficiency, I think he shot like in the high 60s against the Cavs. He was really not missing. I don't know how sustainable that is. It'll probably taper off a little bit against the Spurs, but if he's giving them that efficient offense, then New York's attack becomes much more diverse. So I'm looking at him to provide that impact on both ends of the floor.
Okay. You guys, final segment. The predictions. Who wants to go first?
I'm gonna go Spurs in 6, man. I'm gonna go Spurs in 6. I think coming off of a game 7 could possibly derail the start of this series. So I think I'm leaning game 1 going towards the Knicks. But after that, I think the Spurs are gonna adjust and find their way to just get the job done. But I will also say, like, a lot of people are. I don't know about y'all are. I don't know if y'all are, but a lot of people are counting out the Knicks. I think the Knicks, what they're doing right now is crazy. They're playing crazy ball right now, and there's no way that they're just gonna go out there and get smashed on by the Spurs. So I think the Spurs gonna
Right.
take care of this in 6 games.
I'm going with the Spurs in 7. I think just like you once said, I think people are counting the Knicks out a little too prematurely. I know the recency bias. The Spurs just knocked off the champs, knocked off the MVP, things like that. But the basketball that the Knicks are playing right now, I think we all have to take into consideration how good this team has been. This is one of the best offensive stretches in playoff history. I think they're like a plus 38 net in closeout games this postseason. So they've been amazing, and they match up well with the Spurs team. You know, especially if Mitchell Robinson's healthy, you can run double big against the Spurs and have success with it. Your wings are playing the best basketball of the season. Jalen Brunson, we don't have to say too much about him. He's been stellar, and their role guys like Deuce McBride, Landry Shamet, Josh Hart, they're all hitting shots, all playing well, all playing super confident. With that said, I'm picking the Spurs because Victor Wembanyama and the way he's playing right now. He's looking like the best player in the world. 23 years old, staring down the barrel of his first championship, which is insane. And I just like the Spurs. I think they have a little more depth than the Knicks. I think they have a lot more different options that they can go to, especially in the backcourt. We haven't really even talked about Dylan Harper much on this show. They have De'Aaron Fox, they have Dylan Harper, they have Steph Castle. Like they're not going to the Knicks are not going to be able to turn them over like they did against the Sixers and the Cavs. So having those three guys there to handle the ball pressure, I think is what's going to put the Spurs over the top, and obviously the Wemby factor as well. And I think the rest versus rust thing, I don't think it'll be as relevant this series because the Spurs are going to have 3 days off before game 1 of the finals, which is Wednesday. And then in the finals, I believe they're playing every 2 days, every 3 days. So both teams are going to be well rested and both teams are going to give us great basketball. So I don't think the rest versus rust thing is going to, affect either team. But I'm going to go with the Spurs in 7 games and, capturing their first championship in 12 years.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Spurs and 6 on this one. Obviously, we know how well the Knicks have played to get out of the East. The Spurs, though, I feel like the momentum is just on their side. Obviously, they've been more battle tested this playoffs. Usually, with the rust versus resting, obviously the Spurs, they are a really young team, so I really don't see that like affecting them coming off of a game 7 as much as I could have seen it affecting the Cavs, even though they technically did come out that game 1 ready to play, but obviously we ended up knowing what happened. Yeah, I feel like the Spurs, they have what it takes to go out there, still be dialed in, still remain focused. I wouldn't be surprised if they did lose game 1, like he once said. But all in all, I would have the Spurs going out there winning this series. Like Izzy said, I feel like the depth is a little too much for the Knicks, and I don't feel like the Knicks have that defensive willpower to compete with the offensive willpower of the Spurs. So I'm gonna go with Spurs in 6.
Okay. For me, I'm between 6 or 7 games, but uh, who got game 1? Is game 1 in San Antonio?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Ooh, Jesus.
They have the home court.
Yeah, give me Spurs in 7. I think the Knicks have been rolling off too quickly, in my opinion. I think they'll defend home court pretty well. I think that crowd will be a factor, but also I think just the Knicks have bulletin board material. I think with everyone saying Wembanyama the best player in the world or they have the best team in the world, I think that can play a part into them willing themselves to win a game. And I think Brunson will have a big game against the Spurs. And I think that Cat, if he's locked in, it's gonna be a great matchup between him and Wembanyama, unlike him and Chet. But that's another story for another day. But I'll say for sure, give me Spurs in 7. I think this is probably this will probably be a good cherry on top for this NBA season. I think this NBA season has been very, very much entertaining. Then we seen a lot of high moments from everybody. Seeing stars show up crazy in the playoffs. Some did, some didn't, but we had a lot of crazy moments. I think that this will be a nice cherry on top for a good brand of basketball to be played for everyone to enjoy. Any last words?
I can't believe the NBA season's almost over. That's
Bruh.
like,
Yeah, that's crazy.
can't believe we're already in June. Can't believe the finals are starting this week. Over 82 games. How many playoff games that we've had? Like, I think that we've had, what, 5 game 7s this
Yeah.
playoffs,
Yeah, we
something
have.
like that.
Mhm.
Crazy season, crazy postseason, and I think the finals will be a thrilling conclusion. So, well, I mean, either team, we either Wemby has arrived or the Knicks have won for the first time in 50 years. So either way, you can't go wrong. So great, the league's in a great spot.
Yeah. But hey, that'll be the first and only one the Knicks will win if they do that.
Hey, all you need is one. I mean, if Brunson gets this one, I mean, we'll have some uncomfortable conversations about where he stands in Knicks history.
Okay, bet. Say no more.
Yeah.
But you guys don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys on next episode. Peace.